have some surprising news for you, though. I learned that we can't make a flower grow. We can get that pot, and we can put some good soil in there, put a seed in, add some water, maybe even some good natural fertilizer, and then put it outside and wait a few days, and there's something else within that seed that knows exactly how to crack it open and allow it to grow. So what we can do is we can have the intention to grow a flower. And today I'm going to share with you some of the intentions that I've worked with since 2006 to try to create an environment so that I could really allow that expression of spirit to crack open and grow within me. But first I'd like to tell you a story that one of my fellow students at the Holmes Institute shared with me. And that was this couple that moved into a new neighborhood. And they're a young couple, and they're sitting there the next morning at their window enjoying their morning coffee. And they look out and they see a neighbor come up, and she hangs her wash out on a clothesline in the backyard to dry, which you don't see very often anymore. So they're really watching her. And the wife says, you know, that poor lady, she doesn't really know how to wash her clothes, or she's using the wrong laundry soap or something. Those clothes are just not very clean. And every few days when they're having their morning coffee, she says the same thing. And her husband kind of looks at her with this long kind of questioning look, but in silence. And after about a month, one morning, the lady gets all excited, this young woman. She goes, look, honey, the clothes are clean. Somebody must have come over and showed her how to do it, or recommended a better laundry detergent. So it's awesome, now she knows. And her husband looks over at her with that same kind of look and says, no. I got up early this morning and I washed our windows. So the most unhappy people that I've ever met are the type that are always observing other people's behaviors and evaluating whether it's good or bad, right or wrong. But obviously the happiest people are those who learn how to objectively evaluate their own behavior and make those minor corrections as we go along. So that's what I'd like to kind of share with you, how I've done that. But first, I'd like to, if you're willing, have you take just a moment and use that observer self. Close your eyes for just a moment and think over the last month or so, where have your actions been in alignment or not in alignment with the values that you say you believe? But be kind and gentle to yourself. Now open your eyes. I don't know about you, but when I was preparing for this talk, I came up with a couple of things that were not in alignment for me, my behavior, with my values that I have. I mean, if we're in a relationship, if we're ever around other people, there's always opportunities for things to happen because we all have different family dynamics, different backgrounds, different cultures. We have different ways of seeing the world and understanding how the world works, right? So there's just sort of that opportunity comes up when we're in relationship with other people. So what I'd like to invite you to do is in the coming week to set an intention. Just to try, observe your own thoughts, because your words come from your thoughts. Your actions come from your thoughts. But just to sort of observe yourself. Because if you set that intention, you're much more likely to kind of catch when something's not maybe in alignment with those God qualities of love, peace, and joy. One definition of integrity, which is closely aligned with this idea of living in alignment with our values. One definition of integrity is the quality of being honest, fair, sincere, and ethical. Another definition, and I thought this was really interesting, of integrity is wholeness, unity, being undivided. And most of us here who've come here for a while know our own wholeness. We know that we're complete. So this idea of living in alignment with our values is a part of living with integrity, of being responsible for our own thoughts, words, and actions, so that we can allow spirit to flourish from within us. Now, when I was researching this topic, I saw a cartoon of two different movie theaters, one right next to each other. One was playing an inconvenient truth, and the other one was playing a reassuring lie. You might imagine that the line to see an inconvenient truth was very small, only a couple people. And the line waiting to see the reassuring lie was a mile long. So that we know, though, that we're not here to fake perfection. Right? We're here to make mistakes, to learn and grow and realize our inner perfection that's already there. Paulo Coelho said that stress, anxiety, and worry are caused when we are living to please others. And in our textbook, our founder, Ernest Holmes, said that the criterion for any person as to what is right or wrong for them is not to be found in someone else's judgment. The question to ask yourself is, does this thing that I'm about to say or do add more life, more happiness, more peace to myself, and at the same time do no harm to others? If that's okay, then it's the right thing for you. But one thing that I learned, and I said I've been working on this since 2006, is the value of making amends when you do make a mistake, rather than just saying you're sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, and move on, right? And how you make amends is you state clearly what you did that you think is wrong, without any reason or justification or blame. Just say, this is what I did. That was wrong. How can I make it up to you? I mean, you're opening yourself up to being in relationship with that other person. You're taking personal responsibility when you do that. 3 things. Here's exactly what I did. It was wrong. How can I make it up to you? And being very sincere. Even if they say there is nothing that you could do to make that right, if you were serious and you took responsibility, then you can feel clear, right? And that just makes you feel so much better. That helps your self-esteem. And if you make this a habit, it's uncomfortable enough that it was a big disincentive to making that same mistake over and over and over again. You learn pretty quick, keep your mouth shut. Don't do that. It works really well to help you live in alignment with the values that you say you believe in. Even if you're trying just to get there, the effort is like breaking up that soil. You're breaking up those old patterns. So it creates that richness that the spirit within, that the love within can grow. And you'll feel so good about yourself. Your relationships will improve like crazy. I did this with my sister, for example. I knew there was something that I had done that was wrong. It was a long time ago. But as I was working on this, it popped up. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go call out my bad behavior. and see what I can do to make that right. So I centered in prayer. A big part of this is that morning meditation that we do, getting in touch with love, peace, joy, and truth. I centered in love. I went to her and I said, this is what I did. It was wrong. How can I make it up to you? And she looked at me like I was crazy. She's like, I don't even remember it. It was no big deal. But I'd like to tell you something else. There's this recurring thing that you do that really gets me mad. And I was really shocked. I really and truly did not know. I had been blind to my own behavior, which she said was a pattern. But I was so grounded in love. And so, thinking about how important this relationship was to me, that I said, okay, tell me what I can do to make that right. And she told me, never, ever, ever do that again. I mean, not once. I mean, she was very clear since I brought up the subject. But our relationship is so very much deeper now because we had that true heart-to-heart connection. And I learned something that I do that probably affected other people around me, that I was blind to. But Spirit, I cracked open, and Spirit allowed me to see that. We have such a gift of the observer and the observed within us. But we never were trained. When you took that moment there, we haven't been trained to use the observer self to observe our own behavior. But we have it. So this coming week, try and practice and work on that. I also wanted to talk a little bit about that sincerity, the power of your motives. So your motives are another thing to think of. So then there was this ministerial intern. And ministerial interns for senior ministers are sort of like, go do this and go do that. There was a pauper with no family and passed away. So the senior minister said, hey, go out to the graveside and do a burial service for this person. Well, the intern gets out there and they've got these great intentions, good motives, but they get lost. And they're driving around and they were like an hour late. So by the time he gets there, the hearse is gone, the backhoe is still there by the open hole, and the two workmen are over there under a tree having lunch. And the intern is like, oh no. And he gets up there and the vault lid's already closed. So it's really late. But he sets about with this great impassioned service and sent this soul to the next plane with just passion and vigor. It's probably the best service that anybody's ever done because he had this great intention. And as he's going back to his car, he hears the two workmen and he says, wow, I've been putting in septic systems for 20 years and I've never had anything like that happen. It's all about your motives. So be sure and check your motives too. Is your motive to really go and help someone, or is it to look like you're out helping someone? So don't forget your motives when we're trying to live in alignment. Weigh your thoughts, words, and actions against your intuitive knowing about the God qualities of this unconditional love, peace, connection, and truth. Not that loud voice in your head. Go to your heart, not that loud nagging voice in your head. You know intrinsically what these values are that we're talking about. That's what the morning meditation is all about, getting in touch with those qualities, especially love. And the other thing is bringing those qualities into your day, right? One thing I try to do is just look people in the eye when I'm interacting with them, the cashier, that type of thing, and seeing them as a precious child of God. The other thing is speaking up for yourself, loving and respecting yourself as well as others. I mean, sometimes you have to speak up for yourself, and this is definitely another area that I really have to work on with myself, is not just being passive when something happens that is against my values. I have to speak up. And I am very uncomfortable with that, but I'm working on it. We have to do that to respect each other. But I can get in a discussion with someone else. We can agree to disagree, but I still can relate to that other person as a special, precious child of God. Even if I choose not to be around that person anymore, if they're hateful or disrespectful or whatever, that just isn't a value that I align with, I can still love them. Another way that we can live in alignment with our values. One of my friends came to me and she was very wound up, I'll say that. But she knew I'd been working on this making amends thing and she really wanted to. She'd been losing sleep. She herself had behaved really badly. But she said, the other person's behavior was so terrible. And they were being terrible to a whole bunch of other people. So I waited too long, I didn't step in soon enough, and I lost it. So I need to make amends to this person because it was very embarrassing for them in front of other people. But I can't, because they were so wrong. So I try to use this analogy. Is it sort of looking like you're over here in your house, you've got your yard, but you're over there peeking, it sounds to me like, you're over there peeking in this other person's yard and it's a mess. They got junk cars and their garbage is out there and they haven't mowed their lawn and they're creating a fire hazard and, she was just all wound up in all of that. It's like, suggest you stay in your own yard. Allow them their own spiritual path. Allow them to discover the joy of having a clean, orderly yard in their own timeline. Making amends is like cleaning up your side of the street is another analogy. And as long as your side of the street is clean, don't worry about the other people. That's not our job. Just like Paulo Coelho said, we're happier when we focus on ourselves. You can make yourself unhappy by worrying how other people behave. And I realize that this really applies to me reading the news too. It's like, I can be informed, but all day long, I need to work on myself and not be wound up about other people. So make sure that your values are the foundation that the thoughts and words and actions come out of. Your morning meditation is so crucial. But also at night, when you go to sleep, you can say, how did I do today? Was I loving and kind to all? Did I add to the flow of life? There's trash on the ground, did you pick it up? Did you see somebody having trouble with their groceries, putting their groceries in their car and you helped them out for a second? Just a quick review of your day. Do I owe amends to somebody I need to get right on tomorrow? And give yourself credit for the growth and the loving things that you did as well. And then as you drift off to sleep, how am I going to feel tomorrow? Perhaps just grateful that the love of God flows to me and through me. So in the coming week, gently and lovingly, notice your actions. Be objective. Celebrate what's going well and make those course corrections that are needed so that you can flourish and blossom. So now let's move into treatment. The essence of Spirit is truth, peace, love, and joy. And Spirit is all. Spirit is omnipresent, present in all of us, in everything. Spirit is omnipowerful. and omniscient, all-knowing. And we are truth, love, and kindness, unified within that one. I know that I am truth, love, and kindness, and as this is true for me, it's true for you also. I affirm that my values and my actions express the truth of who I am, and I disclose my activities in a transparent manner. I accept responsibility for my actions. By repeatedly engaging in an objective review of my own behavior, I get better and better at practicing the presence. And this helps me become more conscious of the tangible presence of divinity within me. And this is as true for me as it's true for you. We are all one. I also know health, abundance, and unity are ours as divine inheritors. All is well right now. And I speak my word into the universal law that always, always says yes. And so it is.